So let's see what happens. Oh my god, it's instantly so laggy.
Oh boy.
Shit. Fuck, we might not be able to do it tonight.
You see if it's coming through.
Yeah, it says we're live. Oh, it just looks laggy to me. It doesn't look laggy on stream.
Yeah, I think on stream it seems like it's doing alright.
That's weird. Because it's a display capture.
Woo, how fun. Yay.
I edited the title. Why does it just say episode 23? Hello? I edited the title, my guy. But I can't fix it on my iPad.
Oh boy.
It's fine. I don't know what's happening with my computer either. So let's hope it doesn't blue screen or anything. Because I can't stand looking at it. So I'm actually gonna like push this back a little bit. I'm just gonna push that back a little bit and then do this. And just have that right here so I can see stream.
I'll post in your server that we're live.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Appreciate it so much. If the music's too loud, I'm sorry. I don't know. I can't change anything at this point. Unless y'all want to see Spotify.
This is an on the road podcast this week.
This is a very trialing podcast this week. Because obviously, I'm not at home. I'm on my laptop right now. Like, I can't really explain why I'm not at home, besides I had therapy today and I have to stay in the city for another couple hours at least, and by the time we got home, it would be way too late for podcast, so we're just gonna do podcast now.
And
it's great.
And it's all fine. We're super great and professional at this, definitely, for sure.
It's so good.
Why are you yawning so much?
I don't know, but I'm gonna grab a Sprite. Oh, that means I have to move this. Hold on. Jesus Christ. Give me a Sprite. Good thing I bought a 6-pack and not just like a couple, because I didn't realize I'd be in this city for more than one day.
Yeah.
But it's fine. Everything's fine. Let's hope this one doesn't explode. Like
TikTok audio stuck in my head.
Always. Just waiting on people to roll in. Just waiting on people to roll on in.
Come on, join. We don't bite. Shut up.
Yeah, a few people said something. Because they were like, unless you're into that. But I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's exactly
how my brain works. So it's a thing. I feel like this week's gonna be interesting because I don't know a lot about your system hierarchy, and I feel like you know a lot about ours.
Ours is definitely interesting, and we're still getting it figured out because, oh man.
Yeah, that's fair. It's so weird. It's like, I would have to end stream because of this if it were actually showing up on stream, because this would be so sensitive to like photosensitive viewers, like what I'm seeing on my computer right now. Because it's like glitching out so bad. Like, I actually kind of want to, like, where's my phone? I want to, like, send you what is happening. Like, hold on. I'm gonna try and like move, and so it'll like you'll see it. But that's not showing up on stream, which is the weirdest thing.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the stream on my phone, and
yeah, it's fine on the iPad. Yeah, just look at what we sent in media in our server.
Let me see.
We would have to end stream.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
It's horrible. Like, I genuinely don't know what's happening. Oh. Hello? What happened?
I'm a dumbass. Hi.
LOL, hi. I didn't know what happened. I thought we lost connection or something.
I accidentally joined the
general
call in different
yeah
in a different server. This
That's
is
so
it's
funny.
all good. We're good.
And the text is in a good place. It's fine. I'm okay with this. I wish I had a second monitor, but that's a whole other thing. I probably could have streamed from my sister's computer or from my brother's computer. It's fine. It's too late now.
It all honestly fits in with the vibe of the whole podcast.
It does. It really does. But like, I'm kind of glad that our guest didn't respond this week because I would be here.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad they didn't respond this week. So we're hoping that we have a guest in the future. We're not going to say who they are, but they'll be here. But yeah. So I hope the mic quality is okay. I'm using my sister's headset. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I think you're coming across clear enough at the very least.
Fair enough. It's better than the computer microphone that doesn't work every time we're in Discord. Which was like, I'm not streaming with that microphone. So it was either this, or I literally just took my brother's AT2020 off of his desk, and I didn't want to do that. Because I also have an AT2020. Because him and I were originally going to have a comedy podcast, and we're not doing that anymore, but because he just doesn't have time. But he still got the microphone, so at least he has a good microphone for gaming and stuff.
Nice. I don't know what kind of microphone we have. I think we just searched microphone on Amazon and put this one on our wish list, and our dad got it.
That's fair. We
didn't even know you needed like a soundboard to use it, because it's got like a certain kind of extension on the end.
It's an XLR.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, ours is
I'm gonna assume that you're correct, because I wouldn't know otherwise.
Ours is a USB. We want to get a Go XLR though, but I think that would have to take a different mic. I don't know if it has USB ports on it. Because the Go XLR is like a sound mixer, and it has like different things. And I want to get one, at least a mini, but I am a broke boy. But yeah, so this week it's gonna be fun.
Who's doing the intro this week?
It's an odd number, so it's me.
Okay.
Okay. I gotta burp. I'm so sorry. The mic is like right near my face, so you heard all of that. I'm so sorry.
Alright.
I'm more apologizing to stream. I know you don't care. We talk enough. I know you don't care. But yeah, so I'm gonna go for it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the DIDIOTS Podcast, episode 23. We are talking about system hierarchies today. And yeah, ours has changed recently. And it was of our own volition. So people are probably going to be like, but no, when you have a bunch of fucking people working together, what do? You elect a group. When you have a bunch of fucking people that don't know what to do, you elect the people who know what to do.
Right.
So we had a system election, and we have a council of 20 members in our system of like 350 plus. And I'm not sure the exact number at this point in time, because we keep finding people. And so it's really interesting. There's 20 people on the council, and so council meetings are like basically we're sitting here, super dissociated. People are just texting to each other, and then we come out of the dissociation. Someone reads it back and takes notes on it. So system hierarchies are going to be different. I know a bunch of people who have councils, but I know a bunch of people who have like no hierarchy. I know people who have like a full government. Like it depends.
Yeah, it all just depends on like what each individual system needs to be able to function,
right,
and how that system's brain sort of conceptualizes what makes a functioning system.
Right, absolutely. And like, because our hierarchy before was we only had a hierarchy of gatekeepers, and then everyone else was kind of like the plebeians. Like everyone else was like, okay, well, you don't have the gatekeeper ability, so we're going to just not acknowledge you, I guess. And so it was basically like we have like one gatekeeper at the top who is on the council, and then it was like a certain other gatekeepers, and then certain other gatekeepers, and then certain other gatekeepers, and then it was everyone else. And that didn't work. It didn't work having one person be in charge of the entire system. Because that's just not how our brain functions.
Yeah.
And that's, that on that.
Ours is definitely, we're still in kind of like, because we've only really known about the system for a little over a year at this point, we're still definitely getting everything figured out.
Yeah, for sure.
And but the things that I do know about how the system functions are a little bizarre. Because there's like different people in charge of
like different things. Sorry, just bring a ball in the middle of that.
It's all right. It's been a moment since I've been out. Hello, everybody. My name is Artemis. I am a member of the council within our system. Well, if we're talking about system hierarchies, I figured I might as well
fair enough.
show up. But as Tia was saying, there are different sort of levels to our system, different areas that different altars have however much say over.
Right.
Like when it comes to the front, what happens with the body, the general life choices, we typically leave that to Tia, because she's the one that is she's the host, she's the one that's in the front, she's as well as, and she's handles the front how she handles it, so that's
a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other thing. And then there is, of course, observation, which is not much really goes on in observation. It's just bleachers where people sit and watch the front. And then there's the inner world, but there's different areas of the inner world. So we have the castle, which is where the council presides over. And that also extends out to the city and all that. And then there's heaven and there's hell.
And so I'm assuming like the three realms have their own hierarchies?
Yes.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I believe the stuffy duddies up in heaven are finally coming out. They've opened the gates finally.
Yeah.
I'm not the most thrilled about that, but...
Yeah. I mean, it happens. We're finding a subsystem right now, so I mean, we felt that. So like our council is of 20 members, and it's like what we did was we took like at least one representative for every role, and then some have more than one depending on the amount of people who occupy that role.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 3 emotional protector representatives. We have 2 protector representatives, 2 gatekeepers, 2 fictive representatives. I think those are the only ones with 2, and then everyone else has 1.
Mm-hmm.
And so our council is made up of the 20 members, and it's just like, so we have like Alice, who is a emotional protector, Amelia, who is like, she's what we call a singleton role, or like not a traditional system role.
Mm-hmm.
She's what we call the scribe. She basically is like, when we were younger, we would say that our hand had a mind of its own. And we were just dissociating into writing. That would be Amelia. And so she like takes notes on the meetings and things like that. We have we have a couple trauma holder. We have a trauma holder on the council. She doesn't want to be named.
Mm-hmm.
We have Carson on the council, who is a reformed persecutor. He's actually a protector representative. Carter is a host on the council. C is what we call our spicy representative, because she is a sexual protector. We have Cecil, who's a persecutor. We have Chaos, who's another emotional protector. Our Little, who we will not name. Claude, who is a protector. Corey, who is our factive representative. Dean, which is one of our fictive representatives. Ethan, who is our fuzztive representative, and a fuzztive is basically when you're kind of a fictive and you're kind of a factive, you're like somewhere in between. For those who don't know what a fuzztive is, these are not clinical terms.
Very
much community
terms.
Eleanor is a gatekeeper. Fried is an emotional protector. Gabe is our middle. Gideon is a gatekeeper. Patton is the caretaker representative, who actually won because his competitor, who won by 1 vote, succeeded her. Like, she like left the running at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So she like let him have it. Remus, who is our misguided protector representative, and I don't even want to tell you how serious he got about the goddamn campaign. And then Spencer, who is our other fictive representative. But like it's a lot of people, but it's like it helps the system, and it makes everyone be represented. And
right, especially since you have such a large system, it's important to...
Every name we've ever held, actually, and I'm gonna say this for the podcast because I don't really care. Every name we've ever held recently has crossed 500.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes people who have fused. So we're not at 500; we're at like 350. But we have fused a significant amount of them.
I believe last the front was aware there's around 350 something last we checked.
Yeah.
We don't like to give numbers anymore because we tried to give numbers and they were obviously very incorrect.
Yeah, that's fair. Everyone's like, how many are there? I don't know. I'm sorry.
It changes.
Just how many are there? We're consistently finding people because we have had 2 hosts and both of them have had alters, and we're pretty sure we're autistic, so we split a fuck ton. Woo, it's so fun. But yeah, system hierarchies are like, we've seen people with full governments. People made fun of specifically the Wonderland system because they had like a hierarchy, and that's why when we posted about our election and stuff, we only did it on friends only, because I know how random singlets love to hate on systems.
People will really just find the most. They'll take the bits of the disorder that seem so weird, so quirky, so strange,
Yeah,
and be like, "Oh, you're obviously faking this."
no, this disorder comes with a lot of weird shit.
Well, it comes with quite a lot of strange things.
Like, your eyesight can change, your allergies can change. You don't control that. We have alters that prefer not to use our glasses. And even though, like, we have astigmatism, so everyone needs glasses in the system, but some just prefer not to use them because with the glasses it's blurrier than without them. So it like, shit happens, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, my handwriting being inconsistent, that's not really explainable by any other reason.
Right. Oh.
Because, like, I have so many sets of handwriting, it's ridiculous. It got to the point...
We are asked at work every time
frequently.
We leave a note at work, we're always asked, especially by our boss, "Did you write this note? Did you leave this note? Was this you?" And I was just like, yes.
So I always sign my notes at work.
Be a good idea.
That's why I always sign my notes at work.
And it just never does.
That's fair. Just, it's probably because, alter and not wanting to write body name, but I felt... It's okay. Like, we're, like, somewhat out at work. Just going on a tangent because I don't care. We're somewhat out at work. Like, people know we have DID, but they don't necessarily know what that means. We don't, like, take off the mask or anything around them. There's a few people will take off the mask around, but it's, like, not very many. And they still call us Carter and whatever. They don't call us by, like, our individual names, but we'll be like... But, like, we'll take off the mask, and they, like, may notice a difference. And, like, our main difference is how we speak. And so, like, because we have the male alters who, like, talk super low, and then we have some alters who talk, like, super high-pitched. And it's really weird. And, like, my boss, when I explained it to her, was like, "Oh, I don't know if you've noticed my voice changes." And she's like, "Oh, I haven't noticed." I'm like, "How have you not noticed?" I'm like, singlets are stupid.
Singlets just don't pay attention so much. That we have seen when it comes to, so we only over the last, it was only at the start of 2020 that we needed the cane to get around.
Yeah.
Most people just ignore it.
Yeah.
Most singlets and neurotypical and able-bodied people, if they don't understand something, they'll just ignore you.
Absolutely. Because, like,
just
like,
this
is just an example.
I didn't notice anything.
This is just an example. It's like when you're a kid and you see someone, like, in a wheelchair or something, and your parents are like, "Oh, don't look," so you're, like, taught to ignore them. Like, "Oh, don't stare." So you're, like, taught to ignore them. And so I think that's just, like, I think that's a social response to disabled people in general. But that's just a thing. Because I remember that when I was a kid, but, like, I was never that kid. There was a program in my elementary school where we could go help the, at the time, it was called, oh god, what was it? It was called Helping Hands. And we would go into the secluded classroom and, like, help the kids learn how to read, and
Mm-hmm.
and like give them social time with neurotypical peers.
Mm-hmm.
We would get rewarded for going and doing that. We would get what they called, like, the teacher's last name was Balcom, so it was Balcom bucks. So every time we would go,
Mm-hmm.
we would get a certain amount of Balcom bucks if we logged our time. And I actually ended up dating someone that was in that class.
Hmm.
And he was in love with me even after I broke up with him, but that was a whole other thing. Uh, um, but it was such a good experience, and it was like part of what made me want to become a special educator, because it, like, my
Mm-hmm.
major title was inclusive special education. I hate the title special education, but that's what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be an intervention specialist. I wanted to be a teacher for kids and that had disabilities, and the, the administration was just administration and paperwork. I just wouldn't be able to handle it, so I was just like, no, I'm going to go into something else.
I feel that.
But I know people in that major who did graduate with that major, and I'm really proud of them. But back to the topic at hand.
Right.
We go on tangents. Um so yeah, system hierarchies are fucking weird, and singlets hate them for some reason. But when you have a large group of people, especially in big systems, system hierarchies are more common. So, like, but when you have a large group of people, what are you going to do other than find a way to represent everyone and try to, like, make things make sense and distribute the load? That's what was happening, is basically all of the problems were falling on our host, and I couldn't handle it. And then they were like, okay, we're gonna make a system council, and we're gonna try and divide up what we can.
The whole one of the biggest, I'd say, factors, I guess, when it comes to taking control of the system is getting the system organized.
Yeah.
So that you can actually all work together.
And it's so important for functioning too, as a system, especially a big system, because you need some sort of like, I don't want to say backup, but it's like emergency exit. You need some kind of like support system, because it can't just be one person taking it all on, and when there's 350 people in the system. Because yeah, we all have our own issues, but the issues in the life are also important, and we need to address all of them. And so, like, what Carter was doing is he was basically letting everyone just have their own thing and do their own thing, and he was taking on everything, and it was just not healthy. And so we elected it, and here we are. Like, it's been a couple weeks since we elected it, so there's not really much of a change yet because it's only been a couple weeks, but it's still easier to manage. But it's like, we didn't end up having a system council meeting this week because we've had so many new people showing up that we just like couldn't get everyone in the front to do so, and so we just didn't. And we felt the effects of that in therapy today because we didn't talk about the most important stuff. Like, we said something really important in therapy today that I'm not going to get into, but that was like the only like important thing that was really said in therapy today, and I'm kind of sad that we didn't effectively use our time. But and it's like a huge part in recovery is like organizing the system and trying to figure out who does what memories belong to who, and stuff like that. And so it's just a part of system organization. And that's such an important part to healing and recovery. Because if you just like ignore your system and don't acknowledge their issues and take everything on yourself, you're gonna set yourself up for failure. And that's why, like, not admitting you have trauma is inherently anti-recovery. Like, you don't have to look for it, not yet, but admitting you have it is the first step.
I was thinking about something, but now I can't remember what it was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It happens a lot.
It do be like that sometimes. We get our train of thought ripped from us a lot. But
yeah, no, Stinglets seem to think that that the only way to be a system is to be miserable, to have no communication, to have
yeah, and that's so anti-recovery.
Like, part of recovery and like the treatment for DID, or having a system, is learning communication with your alters so that you can properly talk to each other and work together to create a functioning life.
Right, because the entire goal is to have a life that you can live. Because DID, sobering fact for everybody, DID has a 70% mortality rate. Like, 70% of people attempt, like, suicide because of DID. And that's, like, the main reason DID systems die is because of suicide. And it's sad. It's very sad.
That's very sad.
And that's part of why we want to get the information out there, is so people know they're not alone and know that this disorder isn't bullshit and all of that stuff, because then that rate will go down.
And also we want to be able to spread, positivity for systems, because it is incredibly hard being a system. It's not a fun experience.
No, not at
all. But that doesn't mean that it's a life-ending, kind of diagnosis. You can still be happy and lead a full and happy life while also being a system, while sharing your life with other people in your body.
Absolutely. And it's like, when people say that DID is just like a miserable life-ending diagnosis, it's not. It makes things harder, but it makes, like, there are very comedic moments in our system. Like, if anything, the universe has comedic timing. Like, we just have, like, an infinite amount of input at all times, and so people are constantly cracking jokes and doing what they can to make us happy, and that's part of what the system does, is it's to protect you from the stuff going on around you. So it's trying to make you happy, trying to make you, like, not be miserable. And so it's not just misery all the time. Like, yeah, especially if, like, a trauma holder is out, it could be fucking miserable, but that doesn't mean they're not a valuable member of the system who needs to be here and do their job. And, like, I don't know, it's, every system member is important, and so and that's why we try to represent everybody on our council by doing the election the way we did, is because we needed to see everybody's input.
That's why when they decided to close the gates up in heaven, in our inner world, they didn't ask anybody. They just closed them one day, and nobody could get out or in, and we didn't know why.
Yeah.
And then they brought everyone together recently, and they said that they were going to open the gates again, and we all had a vote on it. Not everybody wanted them to be open. Some people liked them being closed, but a lot of us did want to get out finally.
Yeah. But like, with our council, it's helped us function because we know what we need to bring up in therapy, and we know what each role's issues are that they're having. And sometimes they bring up like specific people and specific issues they're having, and it's just very helpful. Drink a blah.
System has been functioning a lot better since Tia became aware and decided that how they were going to handle things was to, actually listen to people.
Right. Like, with system awareness before, like before we had this many people, it was a lot easier because there was just like 6 people that we knew about. And so, like, they each had their own like issues they would bring up and things like that, and then they would just address it as the 6 of them. But when we got so many people, it was just harder. And I don't know, like, Carter acknowledged us, but he didn't necessarily like accept us at the same time. Because in a way it still kind of feels like that, because he goes into denial like a lot. But that's just, a host thing, and that's beside the point. But I don't know, it's just, I don't know, brain is really going blah.
It's okay. Oh. Definitely know how that feels.
Yeah.
Haven't really, especially since I haven't really been to the front, so.
That's fair. Yeah, we're and like, that's just another reality of the disorder, is people waking up and people switching in and doing all these things. But people are like, oh, how do you always know who you are? We don't.
Oh, we definitely do not always know who's fronting.
Like, people are
like, I was not expecting to be the one to say that.
That's fair. Like, it's there, and there are clues that we can use, like our favorite color, or how our voice sounds, or just what we feel like, or the emotions we're having. Like, there are physiological ways to tell. Like, like if we have like a food aversion that the others don't, if we have like a certain like a certain memory the others don't, like that stuff, and it's like it's just stuff like that. And I don't know, it's just it is hard, and people don't necessarily talk about the hard all that much, but sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you just can't, because a lot of the negative shit like we're going through, we're not putting on social media because like it's not their business. And that's the thing, is like, why would I want to put the negatives that I'm going through on social media? Because it's not your fucking business.
Yeah.
So that's why people are like, oh, you're only portraying this disorder as positive. No, I'm making a fucking joke, because that's how I learned how to cope with my fucking issues. Like, we make memes because the one coping mechanism we were taught was to laugh at ourselves. So it just depends. And because like that was
I I honestly sort of hate the idea of, I feel like the term romanticizing a mental illness or whatever is such a double-edged sword.
It is.
Because, so what if I want to romanticize my own disorder? I'm the one that has to deal with it.
Fair enough. It's like, how I cope with my trauma is not your problem. and how I portray how I portray myself on social media. Like, thing is like, people don't get mad at neurotypical social media influencers because they only show the positive.
Mm-hmm.
People respect those who show more and show the negative, but they don't actively go after people who only show the positive. But if you have a fucking mental illness, they're like, you're romanticizing this illness if you think it's only positive. And we're like, we don't think it's only positive. We just portray memes because that's how we know how to cope.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of that, I guess. But
like, romanticizing mental illness when you're the one that has that mental illness and you're the one that has to deal with it
is a completely different story than
if you're romanticizing mental illness because you want it. On the other hand, no, stop it, I'll hit you with a stick.
Just bad. Because like the people who
you
say
romanticize wanting to have DID, it's not fun. It's not.
People are like, I want DID so I can have friends in my head. We actively hate each other.
That's not what it is. Oh, I hate so many people in this system. Why did I just
get a notification when I am on streamer mode? Hello?
Who knows? Ugh.
Okay, well, it's on, so...
Yes.
I don't know. Shit's super weird, and brain's going blah, and all this other shit, so...
I feel that.
But... system hierarchies... I don't know why singlets hate them so much. I really don't.
They hate us functioning.
Yeah, it's super weird, and again, it's anti-recovery.
People love to hate on, for some reason, just any system out there trying to function in whatever way they do. And it's like, why is it your business? Why is it your problem?
I'm just trying to find a way to
someone else is doing something that you think is cringy. Who cares? Grow up.
I'm just trying to look for a way to live, my guy. But
trying to live our life and just be happy and have fun and do things that we like. So who does it really matter if you find something that someone else does is cringy? Who cares? Keep it to yourself. Cringe culture is dead.
I hate cringe culture. It's so annoying.
Someone was saying in our system the other day that the real cringe culture is the people who think that cringe culture is still a thing.
That's completely valid. It's completely valid. I mean, I do look back at some of the things I do and cringe, but it's like, in a way that kids are cringy. Kids are just going to be cringy. That's just a thing. And like, people make fun of like teenagers with this disorder for being cringy, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry that they went through something in childhood that made them a system and they're finding their awareness while they're still a kid. Like, it's not like our fault that we have this disorder.
Sorry, people are calling me out for being a sugar car obsessed teenager.
It's okay, we were also a weeb. But yeah, so just because brain go blah, I kind of want to cut it short today, if that's okay.
I think that's probably a good idea, because we're also...
Ooh, so any final thoughts on system hierarchies?
And every system, like, not every system is going to have a system hierarchy, but systems that do, it's a completely, totally normal and valid way of handling the system and dealing with things. Like, it's not weird, it's not indicative of faking, it's literally extremely normal.
I agree. Completely agree. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. Thank you so much. Thank you. I did keep saying thank you. Um, uh, Thank you for
Like,
just
comment,
joining us.
subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. It'd be great. If you have any ideas for future podcasts or people you want to see us like reach out to try and bring on, like leave stuff in the comments below. And we will do our best. So thank you guys. See you later. Have a great rest of your day. And bye-bye. Bye. I have to go to freaking